Hey Basket Brains, Kirby here, aka Darkwing Disc, and we're bringing you Tree Smack 5 with Fairway Media, and I'm here with Christian Foster.
Hey y'all, excited to be here for round 2, the back 10. We want to thank you to the tournament directors, Chuck Mintz and Danielle Keen.
So here on our lead card, we have yourself, Christian Foster, Kenny Clark, myself, Kirby Snyder, and Phillip Raschokow. Thank you to all of our sponsors that you see on the screen here today. Couldn't do it without you. Hole 11, 401 feet, par 3. This is one where, you know, the biggest distance throwers can get there almost all the time, but it's such a low ceiling and it's such a specific 401 feet that it's extremely challenging. What are you throwing here, Christian?
Yeah, super challenging hole because as the distance increases, the hole gets the shot and your distance and your angle needs to be much more accurate. I am throwing a Champion Destroyer there, and I got it a little bit too low, straight into the ground. Not super happy with that shot, but an easy up shot for par.
Yeah, so Kenny likes to throw the forehand here. If you haven't heard, Kenny's actually aced this with a Vulture, which is a 10 speed. I don't even understand that in my mind at all. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm throwing my kind of flippier Zeus here, and one of the more common plays you see is to kind of hit one of those trees on the right side and then kind of kick over it into hole 8's fairway there. Phillip with a pretty solid little approach, and I'm going to have kind of a weird little chip up forehand hyzer.
Executing nicely right up next to the basket around that bush. That's a great shot. I'm also a little bit around there throwing the backhand anhyzer, just trying to lay up for par. And here's Kenny. What do you think this is, 45?
Yeah, I'd say 40, 45, somewhere in that range. It's a good effort from him. It's a tough putt to make. Comebacker hits no problem.
I'd be on the drive home, I'd turn around and swing.
Looks like everybody here will pretty much just be cleaning up some easy pars.
Yeah,
like we were saying during the front half, as the day was going on, it was getting colder and colder out here, which is, you know, kind of unusual for this time of the year and for this area. We expect as that 1-2 in the afternoon to hit for the temperature to peak. It just seemed like it was dropping.
Exactly. Here we are on hole 12. This is a par 3, 367 feet. A lot of trees in your way, low ceiling. Unless you have a big booming forehand, a lot of players are going roller, trying to get pushed through these trees and then get their disc to cut off to the right. I didn't get enough cut, didn't get it on the ground quick enough, and my disc leaked out to the left, leaving me with a pretty simple upshot, but still can get challenging if you get stuck in some of those bushes. Phillip laying down the roller, getting a little bit of an early cut off into that nice opening on the right side. Kenny going forehand roller. Have you seen him do this before?
I have not seen him do this before, but I know Kenny really relies on that forehand roller for a lot of shots, and I don't doubt that he can do just about anything he wants to do with it. And one of those early trees just kind of hanging him up.
I like the play. I like the forehand roller because you can get a little bit more accurate trying to place it in between these trees. Sometimes when you're throwing this backhand roller, you're just hucking and praying. You hit that nice gap, curl out a little bit, burn out a little bit early on the roller, but you're feeling okay about that shot because you're off into that opening on the right side.
Yeah, I intentionally kind of play my roller, and if it bleeds out right, I'm okay with it, because I almost always have an approach from there at the very least, and some of the best rollers, if they don't kind of tail out early, will kind of make it up to the basket. So I think that's the, you know, where kind of myself and where Phillip kind of tailed off to. I think that's kind of the easy miss. Look at that little nature moment for you.
Hole 12 at SeaTac is an interesting shot for me because It's the one shot where the disc I use, that roller disc, orange disc that I use, is the only disc I will use for hole 12, and it's the only hole I'll use that disc for.
That's interesting. It just kind of stays in the car otherwise?
Stays in the car until I get to SeaTac, and then it goes right into the bag for that one specific shot.
What disc is it?
It's a really beat up champion turn that I found at SeaTac, had return reward written all over it with the guy's phone number like 10 times. I gave him a call and he said, I've given up on that disc, you can keep it. And I almost donated it, but I threw it one time on the roller on 12 and it just was perfect. So it fit that slot and it's in the bag.
Well, a use is a use. It's like they say, there's a disc for everybody, right? That just happened to be the disc for you for this shot.
It is.
Pretty nice seeing a par frame on hole 12. Make our way to hole 13, 425 foot, par 3. This is another one you'll probably see most of the field throwing a roller on. And this is a really good looking shot. Just kind of starting to tail out to the right, but that was definitely hunting towards the basket.
Yeah, a little bit of a longer roller, and so I'm trying, if I throw that orange disc, it'll burn out early. So I'm trying to get that real straight roll, throw it off to the right there. I feel like that's where the biggest gaps are, and just get it down past this group of trees. And that one just kind of kept going, leaving me for a pretty nice putt attempt. Here's Kenny with another forehand roller after Phil throws a nice air shot.
Yeah, I can't believe Phil made his entire way down there without hitting anything. Kenny kind of fall into where your usual landing spot of what you would expect is. And yeah, that's about what I expect out of my roller most of the time. I like to kind of put him out there wide, hold him on the left side, and then when it burns out, I like to kind of crash into that bush you see on the right there and get myself maybe like an edge of circle putt sometimes.
I really like that play because you're throwing it out. It doesn't have a lot of risk of continuing its roll and going off to the left. Worst comes to worst, you burn out early like you did, and then you give yourself a good easy upshot.
Yeah, this is from the range where you kind of put it in the air and hope that you fall into the basket, but really you're kind of just doing that like almost layup. And this is an excellent shot from you. Looks like the bush just might be a little bit in your way. Going through your mind on there.
When I set up my putt, I'm telling myself, throw it at the chains. I've been throwing Frisbees for 25 years, and I know that I can hit a basket from 40 feet. And you'll see, like on some of my putts, I shoot it up into the air, and that's actually a mistake because I'm trying to like really direct most of the motion straight toward the basket, straight toward those chains.
It's interesting. I like the way you think about that. Is you're just your motion is here to there in a straight line. You're not trying to play any arcs or anything. You're just straightest line is into the basket.
Hole 14, dead straight 350. You're throwing your straightest hit a line disc that you have. I'm throwing a rock 3, trying to hit about 325 and get the disc to roll straight up to the basket.
Yeah, as we mentioned in the front half of this is your first time playing with Kenny Clark. And it was after this shot I really distinctly remember Kenny coming up to me and saying, this guy can put a mid-range anywhere he wants to. What the hell, man?
Yeah, I think that's taken directly from Ultimate Frisbee, which is probably more of a passion than disc golf at this point, but I think those two will switch at some point. But when I first started throwing disc golf discs about 3.5 years ago, I picked up a rock and just super vibed with it, was able to kind of throw it as hard as I can, dead straight, that 350, 300, and I was lucky enough to be able to have that shot kind of right off the bat. It was one of my first shots, and this hole is, a good example of that. And so for any kind of beginner player or somebody who wants to work on that shot in particular, which you can do so much with in disc golf, hole 14 at SeaTac is perfect for that.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite just pure golf holes. It's like you were saying before, 350, slightly downhill, and the gap gets smaller and smaller the further down the fairway you get. It's, in my mind, one of the best golf holes there is.
Totally agree. Good shots by the card here, cleaning up their pars. I forget was this after Phil's first shot or second shot?
I believe this is Phil's par shot or par putt. Yeah.
Great par.
Yeah, hole 14 here, averaged 2.77, so about a quarter stroke under par. A little surprising. I would expect it to average more about par, probably just 3 on the dot. You'll see handful of bogeys, handful of birdies. Hole 15, par 3, 250 feet. Pretty straight, pretty uphill. One of the biggest issues that you have is these bushes right in front of you here. They kind of make you kind of second guess your shot right at the last second. Looks like that might have been what happened to you there, eh?
I've been having, before this tournament, I was having some trouble with this hole. I just was doing all the things wrong. And so I did a classic mistake, which was get up to the tee pad, and I said to myself, don't do this, instead of, hey, execute this shot like you know how to execute the shot. And guess what? I said, don't hit that tree on the right, and that's what happened.
Self-prophesized. Phillip with a little early of a turn. He left himself in the middle of the fairway, so he should be okay. You got yourself wide enough up here where you at least can, have an easy little pitch up to the basket.
And I remember we walked up and we were kind of looking in one area for a couple seconds, and then somebody said, hey, it's actually up here, and I had a sigh of relief as I walked up and was able to have a clear open upshot, because there are a ton of small evergreens that are off to that right side that you really don't want to get stuck in.
Yeah, there definitely is. One of the biggest mistakes you can make on this hole too is to throw something maybe too overstable and tail off to the left. As the hill kind of falls there, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So to see everybody kind of center in the fairway, kind of staying off to the right side, just smart, safe plays.
We've seen Kenny a couple times off to the right side of those chains. You think it's just early season for him?
Yeah, it's probably just that. Maybe, again, the cold day. So everybody's hands are a little stiffer than usual. So Kenny's a great putter. He's a great player. So no doubt he'll put it together.
So consistent.
Hole 23, par 4, 491 feet. I personally like to take this left side when I'm feeling it. I'm just kind of throwing a putter over there. What are you throwing here?
This is my super flippy Star Wraith. I like to throw it on a little bit of hyzer and trust that it'll pick up and kind of swing around that tree on the other side of the gap. And Wraiths have enough fade that as they slow down, they won't continue going to the right. They'll actually come back, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah, it looked like he had a really great shot there. Kenny throwing the forehand, looks like he's just trying to spike in right into the landing zone over there, give himself another pitch up. Phil looks like he's taking the more standard approach, which is the hyzer down the middle and letting it kind of skip into place. Goes around the tree and looks pretty good.
I love this play from Phil because he sees the three of us do the crazy thing and go over the top as we see an ATVer come down the bike path. And Phil's like, nope, I'm doing my own shot, where a lot of players might be tempted to give it a shot going over that gap. But he lays down a really nice shot, knows his game. Love that. You're throwing a forehand here. Great skip up and around. Yeah, what are you thinking there?
Yeah, I kind of at the angle where it was, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, this is going to take one of my longer forehands and give her all she's got. I knew I couldn't really get there with the angle on a backhand, and going OB on the left side is just something you cannot do on this hole.
Phillip trying to get around that bush. Just carves it in a little bit too much.
Big skip out of Kenny Clark. That was cool to watch. And yeah, this is not we didn't miss your shot. We just haven't gotten there yet, apparently. Yeah, insane. I remember when you got to this point and really blew my mind with how close you got to running an eagle on this.
I know, Kenny was egging me on to try to really go for the eagle, and I was like, I'm just trying to pick up birdies, my man, but gave it a little bit of a run, safe run. Wasn't really a run, but making sure to pick up that birdie. Nice putt from you. That's a hard putt up there, taking into account the topography. Super close.
Yeah, trying to kind of kick it in at the end there, trying to give it all the body language, but none of it seemed to want to give me the extra oomph to get in. Kenny up here putting for birdie, I believe.
Yeah, after that big flare skip, he sets himself up in a nice spot. Saying,
Says thank you to the chains.
Yeah.
So at this point, Kenny and I were definitely looking at the scorecard, and we knew going into hole 24 that he had a stroke on me for second place. We knew that you were starting to run away with it a little bit, and you were definitely getting hard to catch. So he and I definitely have that in mind for these next few holes.
Yeah, hole 24. Correct me if I'm wrong, but played as one of the most challenging holes on the course. 422 feet. There's this tree right in front. You can throw through this tunnel here, but then the basket is kind of through two pretty dense trees, and so it's really hard to go all the way to the basket. You have to go super high, get this flex backhand chop. Kenny throwing a forehand roller here, which I like as a play, really trying to push as much distance and carve as much distance off as possible and leaving himself with a nice upshot. I don't know a lot of guys that go for this for a birdie, but it looks like you're going for it.
No, I'm definitely not going for it. This is just a putter layup shot to the middle. That's a soft roach. It's really, really understable, really flippy. I'm just going for that landing zone. I've definitely lost way too many discs on the right side of this fairway to try to that big sky shot anymore. It looks like Phillip just kind of did the same thing, just kind of put it right into the nice little landing spot there.
Yeah, love that approach. I think that's the smart way to play the hole.
Good looking shot from Phillip, just kind of skipped right up to it. Yeah, this is like, if I could write up like my perfect way to play this hole and like my least stressful way to play this hole, this is exactly it, where I just land in that exact spot so I can throw a little like zone hyzer at it and just walk away with my par and never worry about it.
And if you have an exact way to play this hole, I'm doing the opposite of you, because that's the first time I ever threw that T-bird on a forehand, but I wanted to get as much turn as possible.
I mean, as far as what you had in there, I think that was probably your best possible option.
I think so.
At least you probably gave yourself a look at getting your par.
And second roller of the hole, gets out of the stuff, leaving himself with a long look for par.
Yeah, Kenny knowing this place like few others do, he knew that forehand roller would at least give him the chance, and it did. He just kind of had that long run at it, and those are tough to make. Phillip lining up his par shot. Nice hit.
Great shot.
Yeah, this hole averaged 3.4, so getting a par on it is just fine. Shout out to John Albert, who was the only birdie for round 2. And that's a great par. From where you were to be able to salvage that and walk away without taking a bogey is extremely impressive. Nice work there.
Yeah, that was a good one. I felt, feeling you and Kenny right on my back. I felt like that was one that I had to get, and it was nice to clean that up.
Hole 25, 314 feet, par 3. Pretty straight tunnel, really demanding shot. You see that kind of tree that kind of goes from the bottom right to the top left. That tree kind of gives me the most problems, at least. You want to kind of throw something that kind of just like flips up and rides. That's not the spot.
No, it is not. Yeah, there's a number of madrona trees and just trees that don't budge over on the right side there, and so you can really get yourself in a sticky spot. What are you throwing here?
This is a jawbreaker zone. I'm going to throw this with just like a touch of Annie and hope that it kind of like flips up and rides a little more.
That is an excellent shot. Nice kiss off the tree.
Good drive, dude.
Thank you.
Did you park it?
I think I did. I think that tree gave me just a little extra luck that I needed. That, yeah, definitely needed that for sure. Helped me out. And Phillip's shot looks like he just kind of turned it over a little too early. But he should have like a no problem up and down for 3. Looks like Kenny's lining up a forehand here.
Yeah, so you and Kenny, neck and neck, 3 holes left. You're parked, so Kenny gets up, throws this lace of a forehand inside that big tree. We'll see where he landed. I was lucky enough to bump out of those trees.
There you go.
Yeah, really impressive that you went through all that stuff on the right there. That doesn't happen too often. Usually when you're in there, you're kind of just pitching up to the middle of the fairway, hoping for the best.
Exactly. So here's where Kenny landed. He's kind of right outside the circle, trying to keep pace with you.
There you go, Kenny.
Big time putt.
Huge putt.
Drive, dude.
And yeah, it looks like it went just long of the basket. I figured I was pretty close.
That's a nice shot.
Good time to shout out a sponsor of this video and one of my personal sponsors, Baka Bak Fried Chicken. If you happen to be in the SeaTac White Center area, go check them out. It's pretty great.
Hole 26, 255 feet. A fairly simple shot, although these trees, both on the left and on the right, make it so that you really have to kind of hit this gap perfectly. And the trick of this shot is not going too far. There's actually an OB behind the basket down, marked by the bike path or the walking path on the other side of the basket.
Yeah, a lot of the people I play with regularly and we all say that this is the easiest, hardest par 3 on the planet. It's 255 feet. It seems like it's just right there. It's a simple little hyzer, but there's definitely a little field goal you have to hit. Like you said, going long is definitely a challenge. Going too straight is definitely an issue. It's one of those, you look at it, you say to yourself, I should be birdieing this every time, and then you miss it more often than you'd like.
Exactly. Yeah, so I hit some of those first trees, and then I had a very strange upshot leaking a little bit to the right. Should be okay, but not what I'm looking for as I'm executing down the stretch.
Yeah, this is definitely one that pretty much all of us want to get. You know, here you see me right there, Kenny parking it again. He and I are just going neck and neck. I love battling with Kenny. This is not the first time he and I have done something like this.
Oh, hey, it's like the last hole. Hey, thanks for coming out today, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, this was a really fun card to play with. It was great to meet all you guys, play with you again, Kirby. Fun to be on film. Just appreciate everybody.
Yeah, I want to say a quick thank you to Justin Banks for coming out with us the whole day. Guys, absolutely awesome. Thank you to Fairway Media for having us here.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks to Justin for capturing all this. It's awesome.
All right, hole 27, the final hole, 229 feet, par 3. Played as the easiest hole on the day with 2.37.
And Kirby, when you're stepping up to hole 27, are you trying to ace this, or are you just trying to park it, get your birdie, and walk away?
I mean, I'm battling with Kenny. I'm trying to park it,
Yeah.
and I'll let him worry about the ace.
And I'm worried about both of you guys, and so I'm just trying to get it close to the basket. Throwing a pig. Not a lot of ground play.
Pig's kind of the perfect disc for this hole. And yeah, I'm a little further away than I'd like to be. Definitely felt the pressure walking into this putt. I had a lot of people kind of standing around watching, as you can kind of see on the corner there.
Taking your time, refocusing. Putting it home.
It's a little higher than I wanted. You see me, big exhale. And, you know, I figured Kenny was really close. Kenny, again, is a great putter, so I just expected him to make this. But I definitely wanted to put the pressure on him. There it is. Kenny and I both finished with birdies. Here you are coming up, looking for your birdie as well. It was at this point that we looked at the scores and knew that Kyle Crabtree had finished in second place, and Kenny and I had tied for third for that battle.
Great battle between you and Kenny, and Kyle with a heater in the second round.
Yeah, Kyle absolutely put it together. It was amazing. Congratulations to yourself on your MPO victory.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you to all our sponsors. Thank you to Fairway Media, and thanks for joining me today. See you later, everyone.
Bye, y'all.